Hugh Hefner died.
The great Hugh Hefner, who lived in a robe and smoked a pipe and had sex with the best looking women of all time, all the way up until he died.
That probably is what killed him.
So my cock is at half mast today.
My cock is also at half
so is my
mast.
zipper, because that guy...
My balls are...
My cock's at half mast. My zipper's at half mast.
And
God bless him.
And I bulldog my nuts for him for the day.
You should bulldog your nuts, and I'm going to take a bunch of Viagra and have sex.
I'll tell you what's interesting about this, too, is a lot of people are like shaming him, like finally what he did to women and what he did.
Fuck off.
You.
Fuck off.
Jesus
He was
Christ.
awesome.
Did you see he bought the grave next to Marilyn Monroe, and they're trying to avoid him being buried there because he released Marilyn's pictures without her consent. And you know what Hugh said? That's true. Oh, it's true, but still, it also made her a superstar. Anyways, but you know what he said? Of course, I'm going to be buried next to the hottest blonde of all time. I've always loved blondes. So I'm going to spend an eternity with Marilyn Monroe. But they never met.
You got to love the guy. He did what he wanted, how. I saw a documentary on Hugh Hefner. I was very impressed.
Look, Hugh Hefner laid to rest next to Marilyn, so it did happen.
Yeah,
they're trying to stop it from happening.
I saw a really good documentary on him. Very smart guy. Really interesting. He just was honest about what he liked. And you know what? He was like, I want to be around the best looking women of all time. Women that'll bring you to your knees, and I want to have sex with them. Okay. I'm right. Sign me up.
So remember, he sold the Playboy Mansion, I think, for some ridiculous number. He wanted like 150 million, 200 million. They got it.
What history?
But the deal is the guy couldn't completely take over the property until Hugh passed away. Hugh was still living on the property.
Okay.
So now
have you been there?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Old.
It's old. It's
not what
wild.
you think.
I wish I'd seen more of it.
Me too.
You know, it's
but
so many people.
It's old.
And stuff. Yeah.
It's not what you think.
Yeah.
It's a real shame, though. The ultimate.
Well, he's kind of the last of dying breed, right? I mean, nowadays.
Is he, though? There's a lot of guys like that if you want to look.
I guess Dan Bilzerian would be like the poor man's version of that, right?
No, there's a lot of guys.
No, but a guy who owns...
I'm saying a guy who... He's like, I guess, the last where...
Well, it's so visible, right?
There's a lot of guys out there, though, like that.
But when you think about the Playboy Mansion, and you think of those women, and you think of one area, and a guy who literally lives with the hottest girls who walk around naked and does what he wants in a robe, that would be right now in today's world. We'd all be like, oh, you know, he'd get a lot of heat for it. It'd be a lot of. But I feel
if
like
you're out there.
I feel like he's the last of that. And by the way, it was a magazine. Magazines.
That's
and I'll
what
give you
he
an example.
stood for,
I was doing a radio John DeBella show in Philly, and the kid who was 30 had never. We were talking about Playboy and Hugh Hefner. And the kid who was 30 had never actually seen the magazines. He'd only seen it digitally online. And when you got a Playboy magazine with those glossy pics, it was like fucking, like as a kid, you were like, what the fuck? I remember
I'm too young for that too, but I saw the magazine. But then Maxim did that. Well, obviously not butt naked, but Maxim kind of took it from there.
Sure.
And then there's other magazines.
Penthouse and Hustler were the two.
Hustler was raw
ones.
Asshole in your face. Too much.
Hustler was that was
too much.
That was our boy Larry Flint.
Yeah, too much.
Bob Guccione, he was Penthouse. You know Bob Guccione?
No.
So bring Bob Guccione up. Fucking awesome. He was
Larry Flint was a boss too, though.
Larry Flint was a boss, but Bob Guccione was a guy. Look at him. He was a really good photographer and an Italian guy.
He looks like Mr. Fucking
the
girl.
Best.
I would not bring any girl I care about.
Yeah. Keep going.
Is he alive?
I think he died. I think Bob Guccione died, but he was, and I think Bob Guccione directed. There he had plastic surgery. Look at his face. A vain man. He
looks like a bloodhound there.
You can't get plastic surgery. You can't do that. You can't wear a wig. You can't do that.
It looks like Stephen King with a touch of the down.
You gotta age gracefully. You cannot. Plastic surgery doesn't work. But he was great back in the day. His shirts open.
Penthouse.
Look at him. Oh, and he would take it. He would be, even though he owned the magazine, he would take the pictures.
I feel like with Hugh Hefner, you know how he was a man of power, in a power position. Yeah. Obviously, he had multiple women. He was like loud and proud about it. That still goes on today, especially with men in power. I mean, tons.
Oh, come on, of course.
Like, even on
Narcos,
they touch a little bit on it, but like one of the head guys, in the Cali cartel had 3 wives.
Oh,
sure.
Sure.
That's just what people in power. It's just like, you're not just going to drive the same Rolls Royce every day.
When I go to fighting events, so if you go to a boxing event, if you go to a high-profile UFC event, you see powerful men, athletes, businessmen with these girls that are just like chew toys. Like
God, that is a harsh word.
Well, I'm just sorry, but that's what it looks like. They're like made of.
Are you the biggest
plastic
pig in the world?
No, I'm saying these girls are professional hot girls. They're there. It's such an interesting, like, you're the alpha male and you have the girl you wanted in high school, and here it is, and she's just huge fake tits and just giveaways and ass gageesh. It's just so. It's almost like I always feel like it's the equivalent of. Like I drive a Ferrari and I got this girl.
Yeah, but also I think, the guys in power, the guys that got those girls didn't establish, or God, I don't know how I want to put this. They're not the guys who created the norm that everyone lives by today. That makes sense?
Well,
does that make sense?
Well, it certainly does, sir. It certainly does. And I want you to know that I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like, I feel a guy with lukewarm skin.
What you're saying is that if men were allowed to really behave the way they wanted to, they'd have that
that'd be the norm.
That's what happens.
That'd be the norm.
Yeah, that's what happens. You get a lot of money.
Monogamy would not be the norm.
No. I mean, that's right. I mean, so that's what I was trying to say, is that when you see these really powerful men, you're like, I think you're married, but those two professionals. Like you see these, you're like, oh, I think I read that you were, you got those two girls at your table. I'm sure you guys are just friends, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think like that, I assume.